Welcome to The Foundry, where leaders are forged daily. Each week we investigate themes of leadership, entrepreneurship, and mindset with some of the greatest minds in real estate. And now, the data scientist of real estate, George Roberts.
Welcome back, Passionate Investing Community. Today we have Darryl Murphy, Senior, for the second half of this exciting show, the importance of underwriting. We're also going to talk a little bit about coaching and giving back to the community. And as well, we're going to have our signature, the 7, that's our lightning round. And at this time, I'd like to welcome back to the show our guest, Darryl Murphy, Senior. Welcome, Darryl.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Right, so you've got a underwriting series going on right now, and I really appreciate this. I appreciate all the things you're doing online. You've got some great shows out there that people can come and learn. So I want you to talk to our audience. What's the focus of this underwriting series, and who should come?
So it's what George is speaking of is the commercial multifamily mastermind, the underwriting show, where our platform is based on, it's an educational platform based on underwriting. We believe in educating, whether if you're experienced, non-experienced, I don't care what level that you're in, come on out and partake in our underwriting show. So we have guest speakers, and our whole platform is about underwriting, the importance of underwriting. What is it that you may need to look for in some of your underwriting, and stuff like that. So it's based on underwriting to help and to educate those that are not, and even help and even educate those that do have experience in underwriting. That's what we talk about, underwriting.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I think that it's totally appropriate to pitch to multiple levels. When you do talk about underwriting, you can always bring in some nuances that I think are, very much at a much higher level. Well, let's talk about some of the other things you're doing for the community. And again, really appreciate what you're doing for the community. If you wouldn't mind, I'd love to ask you about the GOB network. I've gone to one of the conferences in the Windy City, a lot of fun. What I love, I will say the most about this group is the founder, Jim Bix, right? He'll say, don't go and spend, tens of thousands of dollars on some guru, come here. And then, as I understand, you come and join the network, and if you can afford to pay for some of the resources that you're given, go ahead and you pay some money for that. I think it's more voluntary, but you're not paying tens of thousands of dollars to get education. It's more a matter of leaders in the community stepping up and helping to educate the others.
Right. So the GOB network is, number one, it's a nonprofit organization, right? So what George is speaking about is a contribution, right? It doesn't come with $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. Actually, to join the GOB is free. To communicate and to learn, to come to our sessions and classes, it's free.
Yeah.
To a lot of the data that we have is free.
Yeah.
So what if anything, we may ask, can you give us a contribution? There's no minimum, right? There's no minimum where like a minimum is $1,000 or a minimum is $50 or a minimum is $25. You could donate what you could donate. It's a contribution. Okay. So but the GOB network is an educational platform that provides network and support to help those that need the help to get a deal done. That's what it is.
Yeah, I love it. And a great group. Just love what you're doing through that group, and Jake Biggs as well. Great stuff. I think that it's a real breath of fresh air because, not everybody who is running a coaching program is necessarily giving people a whole lot. And it's kind of sad. I mean, you see in any coaching program, there are usually a few superstars, and you wonder, I mean, these might be the people who would have succeeded anyway. And then, sometimes, and sadly, maybe more often we'd like to admit in this industry, you have a lot of people who are kind of on the sidelines. They kind of dip their toe in, they got excited. And then, maybe after a year, they still don't have a deal. And
Right.
there's really not a whole lot of recourse. I mean, it's two sides of the story. I mean, hey, if you're
Right.
motivated, you'll find a way with or without the coach. I mean, coaching can be great. I didn't go the coaching route, I'll be honest. But anyway, yeah, you do mention your students. So is this through the GOB network, or do you have your own separate paid coaching program?
No, I have my own separate coaching program. And it's not expensive, no 50, 60, 80 million dollars, all of that. No. You could come, if anyone's interested, reach out to me. But yes, I have a coaching program, and the coaching program is based around underwriting, but you're still gonna go through my platform, okay? You Because I don't know what level you're on, okay? I don't know. So I take everyone through the basic foundation, just at least knowing commercial multifamily, because that's my specialty. And then once we get through the commercial multifamily, that orientation, or as you will call it, the onboarding, the
Yeah.
onboarding process, right? Yeah, but then we start delving into, okay, let's start getting deals, and let's start underwriting, and let me start walking you through on what you need to look for and stuff like that. So yeah, it's an education program. The coaching program. We're here. You have me. You work with
Yeah.
me. So you're not going to be working. I'm not promoting. Then you work with George. You go work with me.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's huge.
All right. Yeah. And I will in my coaching program, we get a deal, you get a deal, and it's then you have me that's going to also help you
Yeah.
with the raising of the capital, and help you and walk you through that whole process of due diligence, what you're going to need for the lender, what you're going to need for insurance, because you taxes, insurance, people, the
Right.
loan.
Right.
So I'm gonna walk you through all of that to make sure that we're not leaving something very vital out.
Yeah, very important. And, to draw a bit of a distinction, a lot of coaching programs, it seems the larger they are naturally, the more likely you are to pay a very high price tag. And then you're not even working with the person who attracted you to the program.
Right,
So huge advantages of getting in on the ground floor with someone who's newer on the coaching front, someone who's been through many deals. And I think that's really the main criterion. You can work with
right,
somebody who's been through many deals, and at the same time get that sort of face time that
right,
you're not going to get from another program.
right. Well, see, Joy, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because when I put the coaching program together, I already said to myself, I don't want it to be, where I got 3,000 students.
Mm.
Don't know, because listen, then you're not getting the best of me. I want you to get the best of me.
Yeah.
I want you to be able to reach out to me when you need me, not me say to you, "Oh, I'll give you 5 minutes. I got another call."
Right.
So I
Sounds
want to be
familiar,
able,
unfortunately.
yeah. So I want to be able to give you the best of me, right? My coach program, you could join. You don't like it, you could leave. I don't put no contract on you, no nothing. You don't like it? Okay, we part on good ways. Boom, that's it.
Love it. Well, appreciate the integrity there. Again, I think this is another place in our industry where maybe integrity has got a little bit lax, unfortunately. So really appreciate what you're doing out there. All right. So again, this is the importance of underwriting part two. So I want to get back to underwriting. And I know
Okay.
you've got at least one great nugget of wisdom to share with us. There's a question that you ask to all of the speakers on your show. And
Yep.
I'll just frame it like this. Hit us. What is that number one thought question that you would ask anybody
Okay.
about underwriting?
Okay. So everyone, I want you to think about this. Okay. We are so caught up into IRR. We are so caught up into equity multiple. We're so caught up into the average cash on cash, that percentage. But let's just say that none of those things existed. There was no IRR. We didn't know nothing about IRRs. We didn't know nothing about equity multiple. We didn't know nothing about an average cash on cash, that percentage. We didn't know nothing about those things. But what you do know is you have your income, and listen to what I'm going to ask you now. You have your income, you have your expenses, right? You have your debt service, and you have your cash flow. The question is, how much cash flow must you need or you want to have to say that deal is a viable deal and I will invest in it or I will take it to my investors? Did you hear what I said, everyone? You don't know nothing about IRR. Just make believe it didn't even exist. You don't know nothing about equity multiple. Make believe that doesn't even exist. And you don't know nothing about an average cash on cash percentage that just doesn't exist. But you have your income, expense, debt service, cash flow. How much cash flow must you need or get to say the deal is viable, that you would invest in it and take it to your investors?
Yeah, I love that. And I love it from many standpoints. And that's why I just had to ask you that question. I love it because, first of all, I think that a lot of the great investors, look, we all have to look at numbers. It's a numbers game. But at the same time, a lot of great investors, they do a few back of the envelope calculations at the outset just to see if things make sense. They don't go and plug everything into a giant spreadsheet. They have an idea of exactly what it does take to make that deal work. And my favorite investor, and I know this is probably going to shock no one, Warren Buffett, he would always ask people, hey, if you're going to invest in the stock, if the stock market closed tomorrow, would you be happy owning the stock? And in many cases, it comes down to the same. Do you like the dividend? Is the dividend safe? Is this company either cash flowing nicely and stably, and perhaps growing as well, and can give you a great dividend? Or is it growing like crazy and you believe that that growth is set to continue and you don't care, like Berkshire Hathaway, it's only paid one dividend since 1969 or whatever, and you don't care because the growth in the company, you own the same percentage of a much larger pie and you're happy for that. So
Right.
yeah, I love it. Third thing I love about that question is that you do leave it as a thought question. I mean, there are many things that might influence that,
That's right.
like the roughness of the neighborhood. I mean, if I have a decent cash flow in the nicest neighborhood, and I don't think anything can come and take that away from me, I might have one number. And if I have a more difficult job ahead of me, a more of an uphill battle where there are a lot of variables, then I would certainly like to have higher cash flow that's going to sustain me through the debt service and maybe through a refinance, might have a bridge loan, etc. So I love it because it's like life, right? There's not one answer. There are many answers, and it also depends on who you are. What are you willing to do to make the deal happen? So anyway, just gotta love it. Again, I don't mean to gush, but I appreciate what you're doing for the community. And I think you're really helping people to think of things in the right way. And since you are such a good natured guy, I think, why don't we move on to some more fun questions? So I call these the getting to know you questions. All right. So can you tell us, what is your favorite junk food?
Wow. Now see that now you done made me go back to my childhood days.
Oh my God, is it going to be like moon pies or something? I mean, like everybody's got like Twinkies.
When when I was a kid, my favorite dessert was chocolate cream pie, but it had to be on a graham cracker crust. Not the white crust, pie crust, graham cracker crust, chocolate cream pie.
Love it, love it. That reminds me of my son. He's always baking a pie or something. He's even got, most people don't know what pie weights are, but that's what you put in the, you know what I'm talking about? You put those into the crust, you cook it separately, right? And then you get this beautiful crust. It's gorgeous because it didn't overcook. It didn't overcook, anywhere. Oh, it's just perfect. Yeah. So anyway, I can totally relate to that. All right. How about this? What was your dream job as a kid? I don't think it was multifamily syndicator. or real estate
No,
coach?
um, I had several as a kid. One was an airline pilot. One, I wanted to be a firefighter. Um, but most, I think, I'm gonna say before those two, a police officer. I
Oh,
wanted to
all
get into
right.
law enforcement. Yeah, yeah. And instead, I went a totally different route. Everyone, I got into nursing. I went to
I love it.
nursing
I
because,
love it. Reminds me,
yeah,
my son used to ride around our neighborhood. I got him a little this will age me, but you remember Chips,
yeah,
California Highway Patrol, and this little electric motorcycle that he'd ride around, and he put on his police officer's uniform, and he got even a star. If you're from Michigan, a lot of people know. I think it might have been Sheriff Bouchard, one of the county sheriffs, and he would wear that everywhere. I love it. Okay. This is too much fun. I think we got to shut this down because I got to get into the lightning round and make sure we really get to know Darryl Murphy Sr. as an entrepreneur. All right. You ready to head into the lightning round?
okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. Here it is, the seven. All right, Darryl, if you could be known for only one thing, what would it be?
I would like to be known for my contribution to giving back
Mm-hmm.
to
100%.
community, to people at all levels now. I'm not, I mean, at all levels, even giving back in real estate, giving back, helping the homeless. Yeah, I want to be remembered and that, if that's the one thing that at least he did give back and he did try to help those who didn't have it to teach them, to educate them, and didn't charge us anything.
Love it. You're living it, my friend. What is the greatest lesson in leadership you learned as an entrepreneur?
The greatest, sometimes you have to make decisions that's really tough. And if it's okay, if I could give you an example, can I give you an example?
Do it.
So we have a property that's in Dayton, Texas. And we went through two property managers. Both property managers, man, they jacked us. They ripped us off. But we had to make a decision on who was going to go to Dayton, Texas to get that property turned around. And I said, I'm going. Spoke with my wife about it. I moved into one of the units. I spoke to my wife about it. We agreed. But she knew, I knew my wife wasn't going to say no, but she knew this is something that has to get done. So I moved to Texas, stayed in one of the apartments for almost a year. Got the property turned around, renovated the units, got the occupancy up, and everything. And everyone, when you're in this industry, there's going to come times where you're going to have to make a decision. What's most important? I'm going to tell you this. You keep those investors at the top of your mind because you do them wrong, you lose their money, and you didn't put no effort into trying to save it. You could just about be washed up in this industry.
Yeah, as it should be.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're going to make tough decisions. You may not like it, but you decided to be an entrepreneur in this industry. I'm not talking about no other industry. I'm talking about this industry, commercial, multifamily industry. You chose it. So yeah, now you have to live up to the expectancy. You have to do what you have to do.
So yeah, I love your story. Success is a poor teacher, one of my favorite quotes. It takes a lot of integrity to talk about the difficult deals.
Yeah.
And hats off to you for doing what needed to be done. Property managers, when they're good, they make life good. And when they're bad,
Yeah.
they can really screw things up. So congratulations on that for turning it around. Now, were you actually able to successfully turn it back to property management?
Um, we we trying to turn it back to property
Yeah,
management.
in process.
We but it's a process, and the lender has to prove it. So
Right.
right now we don't have a property manager. We are managing the property ourselves, but we are looking for a property manager. So if you know
Yeah.
anyone that's in the Dayton, Texas or Houston area that that's wouldn't mind being a property manager for a 24
Right.
unit with
Yeah.
42 self-storage units, reach out to
Yeah.
me. I would like to talk with you.
That's good. And that's what the show is all about. Another question I like to ask people is, who do you want to reach out to, and who do you want to reach out to you? Because I love to make those connections. So,
Yeah.
yeah, great work turning that around. So, Darryl, what personal characteristic has been most pivotal to your success?
Most personal characteristics that's been pivotal. Oh, there's something I shouldn't have to think about. Characteristics, if I'm thinking correctly, honesty,
Yeah,
right? Honesty, integrity.
exactly.
Can we work together? Can we trust each other? You know, that's it right there, right? You have to know
100%.
me, I have to know you, and we have to get to know each other. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Okay, here's my random question. Just let me know
Okay.
when to stop
Okay,
cutting the deck.
all right, you can stop cutting the deck.
Okay, top card.
Okay,
Top
all
card.
right.
In what era would you have liked to have grown up?
Okay. So everyone, the era that I grew up in as a kid is the era that I wanted to grow up in.
Yeah,
So I'm going to go a little philosophical on you on this, everyone. My body, what you're looking at right now, this is nothing but a body. That's all it is, nothing but a flesh. Okay, that's all. But the part that you don't see, which is that spirit, I'm only here inhabiting this body to learn. The era that I grew up in, my spirit is learning and constantly learning. And even right now, I'm learning. I'm saying to myself, what am I learning from the podcast? How can I take this information, take this knowledge that I've learned from George and transmute this into the universe so that the source gets it and we filter it down to those that are connected to the universe. So I'm not changing anything. I want the divine to know I'm happy. I am very happy in this time frame because I'm learning something every single day, something that I can share with those that are seeking the light, the children of the light.
I love that story of personal development. And I think it's great to pick your own era. I just saw a Facebook post of some little kids from the 1970s jumping their BMX bikes, and it says, yeah, we were the last generation to live like this. It's true. My kids, they got
Yeah.
this speed that they never ride, and they never had that BMX experience. I don't know how to even explain it to them, but
Yep.
all right, back to business. What is one tip or trick that investors can implement in their business today?
So um first, let me say this. There are no tricks
Mhm.
in commercial multifamily. There are no tricks here. Everything here is you're learning. Okay, so there's no tricks. But some of the things that you could probably implement is, of course, learning how to underwrite, okay, and know the basics, and then be committed to what you're doing. So you're in this industry, be committed because you're going to be dealing with other people. You're going to be dealing with people that are not just investors, but once you get that property, you're going to have vendors. You got to deal with those people. You got to deal with electricians, plumbers, roofers. You got to deal with your maintenance staff. You got to deal with your property manager. You got to deal with. So Tricks, there are no tricks, everyone. None whatsoever. There, there are no secret mysteries in commercial multifamily. You know how you hear you hear a guru say, you're gonna learn the secrets of underwriting. There are no secrets in underwriting. There are no mysteries in
But
underwriting.
that does
Yeah,
sell a lot of
yeah.
it sells a lot of copies, sells a lot of courses,
Yeah.
sells a lot in the world to say that there's a
So
secret.
yeah, but just I would just say know your underwriting, and because your underwriting can be able to open a lot of doors for you to raise capital and other stuff like that.
Beautiful. And can you name a book that's helped to forge you as a leader, entrepreneur, or investor?
Yes. Some I'm gonna have to name two because some may not be able to relate to the first one. The first book is going to be the autobiography of Frederick Douglass.
Mm,
All right. So if you don't know about, matter of fact, I'm not naming no second one. I'm just going to name just that one. For me,
right.
because George asked me a question,
Yeah.
what enlightened me? Okay, what got me going? So it's the autobiography of Frederick Douglass. And if you don't know who Frederick Douglass is, he was a slave.
Mhm.
Okay, he was a slave. That's who Frederick Douglass was. And Frederick Douglass, to me, he proved to everyone, not just black people, not just white people, not just Asian people, he proved to everyone that if you are determined to be successful, in his case, he was determined to be free. If you put that mindset there, that you want something and you're going to do whatever it takes for you to get it, you will achieve it. Remember, what the mind perceives, it can achieve. That's what I'm going to say right there. Boom.
All right, yeah, I love it. Great story. And I would say one other that I greatly appreciate, Booker T. Washington. Love that story of
Mhm.
self-reliance, mental toughness. Anyone can do it. Just get out there and make it happen. But you said you were going to give us two, so I don't want to
Okay,
stop you there.
so the second one, there's a book that Dr. Where's my book? Ah, it's in the room. It's written by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I forgot the name of the book, but okay, won't go with that one since I can't tell you the name of because he has written several books, but I can go with Wallace D. Waddles, which is the science of Wallace D. Waddles, the science of I forgot everyone. I forgot the name. But look for a book by Wallace D. Waddles. He has an excellent book. It's the science of something. But yeah, that book right there. If you was to get that and read it, you'll see. Yeah, it's a very good book. It's
All right,
about
awesome.
mindset. Mindset.
If you just sent us out with a quote to help forge our listeners as leaders and entrepreneurs.
Mm. Oh, whoa. Holy smoke. I'm going to come from the I'm going to speak from the philosophical term. I'm going to say um everything starts with a thought. Everything. A thought first, then you take the action. Whatever the mind, and you heard me say this already, so I'm just going to repeat it. Whatever the mind can perceive, it can achieve, right? Whatever the mind can perceive, it can achieve. And whether if you're right or whether if you're wrong, you're right.
I love it. Now, I just want to make sure everybody can reach out to you. What is the best way to reach out to Darryl Murphy Sr.?
Oh, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm known on Dan Murphy Senior on LinkedIn. You can reach out to me on Facebook. Now, if you reach out to me, please put a little note that you reach out to me. You heard of me on George's podcast. So that way I won't be like where I know this person from. Put a little note in there also so I can let George know how many people have also got in contact with me so that he will know how many who's possibly listening to his show.
Yeah, I love that. And I really appreciate everyone who listens to the show. Listeners, you are some of my favorite people in the world, those that I
Right.
know and those that I don't know. You're probably my favorite person in the world, and I just haven't met you yet. So I really appreciate all of you out there. Thank you for making the show what it is. Last I checked, we were number 20 on FeedSpot's list of top apartment podcasts. Could not have done that without you. So thank you all.
Thank you.
And thank you.
And thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Right.